When I first saw Rumi on stage during this performance, it never crossed my mind that she had autism. All I saw was a 7-year-old girl having fun because it's her first time being excited on a stage with her mom and her sister. But once I started seeing people's takes, and I had to look at the video again, and I can see why people might say that she might be on the spectrum. But y'all, who cares if she is or if she's not? We've literally never seen her on stage. She often doesn't even come out. She's a child. She's trying to just be excited for her mom, for herself. I mean, being in front of all of these people. And let's talk about the poise of Blue Ivy, just literally being her sister's keeper. You know, I haven't always been a fan of Beyonce, but as I see her daughters and children, I really start to like Beyonce more because I really do think that she's doing an incredible job raising her children.
What ought to have been a sweet moment between Beyonce and her daughter Rumi has devolved into mayhem, and to be honest, it speaks more about the internet than it does about that young child. It was Beyonce's daughter, Rumi Carter, who she brought out during her defensive performance while she was in full Cowboy Carter mode. This wasn't Blue Ivy's carefully planned, rehearsed scene from the Renaissance tour. Rumi appeared barefoot, grinning, and waving to the audience without showing any signs of fear. Fans adored it. She gave her mother a tight hug and gazed up at her with such admiration that Beyonce instantly melted. For many of the viewers, it brought tears to their eyes.
Miss Rumi asked for her phone. Yes, this little Miss Rumi. And she made Blue Ivy gag on stage. And if you haven't seen the clip, here it is. Okay, so you'll see Rumi here. She's talking to someone. And then towards the end, watch Rumi and Blue Ivy. So it's choreographed, and then here, watch. Did you see Blue Ivy's face? Her face? All right, watch. There. And then a lot of people are saying that they've never heard Rumi talk, and here's a clip of her talking. All right, here she is. I think this is from a couple years ago with her dad and grandma. She said, I need my phone. Get her phone. Listen. She talks. So when Blue made that face on stage, people are saying Blue contemplated if she wants to renew Rumi's contract for the next tour because Blue is the manager. Someone said she licked her arm. I did not see it. I've watched it like 5 times, didn't see it. This is Rumi's world. We are just in it. True. Blue is stressed. It looks like Rumi licked her arm and she was shocked. I didn't see the lick. Blue gonna request that Rumi take some PTO days.
Beyonce has been extremely protective of the twins, hardly ever letting the public see them. Seeing her freely express herself on stage therefore had significance. It allowed fans to see a side of Beyonce that she rarely shows. However, detractors truly made Beyonce realize why she has avoided the spotlight for so long with those twins. The tone changed as soon as the video appeared on social media. Instead of people applauding and celebrating, it became a hive of cruelty and conjecture. People began diagnosing Rumi based on her quick movements, hand gestures, wave, and apparent excitement. I think she's definitely on the spectrum. She is making the classic autistic sign of flapping her hands. There is a problem, we've never seen them, and Beyonce is aware of this. The happiness displayed by a 7-year-old turned into fodder for internet experts eager to label. The comments went so far as to say, if Rumi's is like this, Sir must be worse. That's why he never shows up. People also brought up her brother, Sir. Let me must be clear that these are children. Not just any kids. Jay-Z and Beyonce have taken deliberate precautions to shield themselves from this kind of behavior. It is extremely disrespectful to think that someone has the right to comment on a child's behavior and make assumptions about their health or developmental stage without any concrete evidence. The internet turned a lovely family moment into a spectacle instead of appreciating it, forgetting that it was someone's daughter and not content. What should have been a moment of pride for a mother suddenly became a full-fledged social media circus. As if guessing about Rumi's health wasn't enough, people began researching Beyonce's pregnancy in an attempt to draw their own bizarre conclusions.
She's so cute. Oh my God, Rumi Carter is never beating the autism allegations because she can't. Because she quite literally can't. That's kind of the point. Here's a little crash course in eugenics, anti-blackness, and ableism. What a lot of people don't know about ableism is that it doesn't just apply to disabled people. In fact, you don't have to have a diagnosis at all or a disability at all in order for ableism to impact you. That's kind of the point.
Beyoncé talked candidly about the trauma she endured during her pregnancy on her Homecoming documentary. She experienced toxemia, preeclampsia, and had to have an emergency C-section. It was a high-stress, high-risk scenario. She even acknowledged that by the end of her pregnancy, she had gained more than 200 pounds and had to start over in terms of her physical and mental health. Supporters started to hypothesize that either those complications could explain why Rumi acts in a particular manner, or that the Sir who has avoided the spotlight may be dealing with issues related to birth trauma. As some commenters put it, that pregnancy was too rough. There's no way the twins came out without something going on. This wasn't an issue. It was voyeurism masquerading as curiosity, as if Beyoncé hadn't already experienced enough. People made a case for gossip about Beyoncé's kids by exploiting her suffering. Making comments about a celebrity's appearance or performance is one thing. Just when you think people can't get any more intrusive, they began bringing up Beyoncé's pregnancy to support their vile presumption. However, you've crossed a serious line when you start weaponizing their personal medical history and projecting it onto their children. While it's one thing when anonymous internet trolls say something outrageous, it's quite another when celebrities get involved, which is regrettably exactly what happened. First up was Azalea Banks, who rarely holds back when discussing facts or outright chaos, as anyone familiar with her background can attest to. She was ashamed of Sir Carter's appearance, so she went completely out of line by accusing Beyoncé of hiding him. Not only were her remarks disrespectful, but they were also ruthless and unfounded. Despite her best efforts to portray herself as exposing the truth, Azalea Banks only served to fuel the damaging and ableist rumors that were already circulating online. Things got worse when Kanye West made some of the most demeaning and ableist comments about Beyoncé's twins that anyone with a platform has ever made. In addition to being hurtful, his remarks were offensive in every way. Using it as an opportunity to portray himself as a cultural prophet, he made fun of children's movements and implied mental or developmental problems. Although this is not the first time Kanye has exploited someone's children to gain attention, he went too far this time. Fans aren't the only ones who are going overboard these days. Celebrities are also weighing in, and believe me, things are becoming ugly. It is because of this that everything seems a bit too familiar. Do you recall when Blue Ivy was a toddler and the internet used to come for her? Everything about her, including her hair, clothes, and facial expressions, was scrutinized. People were cruel. And now it's happening once more. She was beaming this time, Rumi, at first. Her onstage glow was pure happiness as she hugged her mother, waved her hands, and took it all in. However, fans began to notice a change in her behavior during subsequent performances. She kept her arms closer to her body and stopped waving as freely. What had initially been confidence began to wane. Nobody is now claiming that Jay-Z or Beyoncé spoke to her. Rumi is old enough to notice comments, hear whispers, and sense changes in the atmosphere around her. But children are sensitive to energy. She seemed to have lost the sparkle she had when she first appeared. People tend to forget how harmful this kind of attention can be to a child. All Rumi wanted was to be on stage with her mother. She didn't ask to be analyzed or to become a trending topic. You all suddenly dimmed a little black girl's light again, and now she's receiving the same toxic attention as her sister, if not more. Beyoncé prefers to move gracefully and let her work speak for itself, so you won't see her speaking out directly very often. But according to people familiar with the matter, she is furious with the way things turned out. According to rumors, Beyoncé regrets allowing Rumi to perform since the world didn't deserve that moment, not because of Rumi's action. The twist is that Beyoncé isn't taking it quietly. Even though she isn't tweeting, her actions are making a statement. Social media snatched up a precious private moment between a mother and daughter. She has tightened the circle around her family and fans, and they aren't keeping quiet either. After the backlash, people noticed that she had pulled Rumi from a few shows. The cruelty, ableism, and outright bullying that resulted from adults passing judgment on a child have been exposed by the Beehive. Instead of celebrating that Beyonce is happy and healthy, people are reminding everyone that she almost died giving birth to these twins. Queen Bey is done being nice. She is speaking with her actions, and you are all aware that people try to turn the story into something offensive. This is more complicated than Rumi, so let's take a step back. In reality, what we're witnessing here is the internet's constant criticism of Black children, particularly when they exhibit emotion, joy, or anything unconventional. Because of this strange double standard, Black children are supposed to be quiet, peaceful, and well-behaved, virtually flawless. However, when they are simply being children, laughing, dancing, and fidgeting, all of a sudden they are acting out, becoming disturbed, or displaying symptoms of something amiss. We've noticed a trend in schools, public spaces, and now on international platforms. Children like Rumi are immediately pathologized for being expressive, and it's not just hurtful, it's harmful. In this instance, they turned Rumi's inherent joy into a diagnosis. People are quick to assign a label to Black children the moment they move differently, smile for an extended period of time, or act overly excited. What was supposed to be a pure moment was broken down and dissected by people who had no idea what they were talking about. But let's be clear, Rumi was just happy, as evidenced by her large smile, hugs, and hand gestures. Only how quickly people judge things they don't understand and how uneasy they are when a young Black girl occupies space without apology were revealed. Let's face it, this is about how we treat Black children in general, not just our relationship with Rumi. Carter is 7 years old. When she took the stage, she did so to cheer on her mother and have a good time. She wasn't acting odd or uncomfortable. She was just a happy, healthy child. And whether she has neurodivergence, what the hell, that simply indicates that she is special, as all children should be, and does not diminish her lovability or indicate that she is broken. That's not the point, though. The point is that people must stop projecting their own prejudices, ignorance, and anxieties onto kids. They must stop transforming joy into a problem to be solved and innocence into comfort. When we forget that children are forbidden and that Black children should be protected, honored, and at peace, this is what occurs. Therefore, the next time a child like Rumi dances a little too freely or smiles a little too broadly, let them be, because that happiness is something that should be preserved. Ultimately, the people who should feel ashamed are the haters, not Beyonce. I am now handing it over to you. Will Beyonce continue to stand up for her daughter's right to shine no matter what, or do you think she will permanently ban Rumi from the stage? If you are riding with Beyonce, share your thoughts in the comments section.